July 20th, 1941. With the fall of Vitebsk, Smolensk and even Veliki Luki, Army Group Center reached its first operational objective within the grand plan of Operation Barbarossa. From now on, the armies of Army Group Center are to split up and advance into opposite directions, at least for the time being. However, as the railway engineers following Hoth's 3rd Panzer Group have progressed much faster compared to the ones following Guderian's 2nd Panzer Group, it means that Hoth can be resupplied much more efficiently compared to Guderian. And so, this week, as the 9th and 4th armies take up defensive positions, and while Guderian is still forced to stand still, waiting for its supplies, Hoth's 3rd Panzer Group goes on the offensive once again. Howdy folks, welcome back to the channel and welcome to, the second episode of the new week. In the last episode we had a look at Army Group North, here we have a look at Army Group Center. As always, I began by having a look at which units I received on the map this turn, and since I received the two SS motorized infantry brigades, which are I think the only brigades of the Axis armies that can be converted into support units, I converted them into support units, and first of all I brought them to the OKH and then I converted them into support units because my plan was to use them and attach them directly to some frontline units of the 3rd Panzer Group in the next week. This was my plan. And then the offensive of Army Group Center. It was spearheaded this time by the infantry divisions of the 9th Army, the ones that still retained a decent amount of combat preparation points, whose task was again to open a breach in the enemy lines and then allow the panzers of Hoth to advance as deep as possible into enemy territory. Now, at the beginning, this kind of reminded me of the opening stages of Operation Barbarossa, albeit on a very, very much smaller scale. And also, interestingly, in this sector, I could, rout some enemy units by launching hasty attacks, but this turned out to be not the case everywhere, because in one case, I think it was with the 7th Panzer Division, the first attack was repulsed, but a second attack was more successful. And yes, I know that this was, against the rules of using your motorized and panzer divisions, but since I did not have simply the infantry to open up a gap for the panzers everywhere, yes, I did use also my panzer divisions as offensive tools, not only to gain ground, but also to, like in this case, to rout as many enemy units as possible and inflict as many losses as I possibly could on the enemy routed formations, with the goal in mind to drain the manpower and the pool of the Red Army in, refitting those divisions, making them maybe and probably and hopefully even weaker, so that next turn they could be routed once again, or this was my idea in mind. And also I did use my panzers and motorized infantry divisions to advance into heavily forested area, which is again something that people normally don't do because it's just a waste of movement points. But with the goal in mind that I had to reach the Kalinin and Leningrad railway line, I thought, if we can advance a little bit more this week, let's just do it. Guderian's 2nd Panzer Group did not really remain still, but it wiped out the tiny pocket southeast of Mogilev, and while of course the two FPDs kept repairing the railroads as fast as possible. And here I think that the gap between the FPD-3 and the FPD-2 really emerged, because while the FPD behind Hoth's 3rd Panzer Group even reached and bypassed Veliki Luki, which is a level 2 railroad, so very important for the supplies in this case of Hoth's 3rd Panzer Group. The other FPD following the 4th Army and Guderian 2nd Panzer Group did not even reach Orsha. And yeah, but by seeing this, I was like, okay, so I think that maybe next week Guderian can still rest and wait for the supplies, while maybe Hoth can continue its advance. And well, as always, I also sent in my transport planes to resupply as many units as I possibly could, and then I called it a week. Let's say for Army Group Center. And as always, folks, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. I wish you the best. And as always, don't leave, because in the next episode, we will have a look at what happened within Army Group South.